Hello, friends, benders and non-benders alike. Welcome to Braving the Elements, Nickelodeon's podcast about all things Avatarverse. I'm Janet Varney.
And I'm Dante Basco. And Varney, it was a whirlwind, that first book.
Yeah.
I'm still catching my breath.
Yeah, action-packed, my friend. Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Are you ready to kind of make a big departure, in some ways, with book two? Like, this is not going to roll you right in.
I know. I feel like the first one was
one.
so, satisfying in a lot of ways.
Like, yeah, well, that was kind of the idea, right?
We kind of figured it out, and I'm going, where are we going to go from here?
Well, I don't want you to panic. I don't want you to worry too much. I want to give you what I like to call, in Woo-Woo Town, a soft landing.
Okay.
Give me that soft landing in the form of our two dads, Mike and Bryan, who are going to help us set the table for book two.
Welcome back.
Michael DiMartino, Bryan Konietzko, thank you so much for coming back.
Good to see you again.
Thanks for having us.
Our two dads are back in the house.
That's right. So, wow, where do we even start? Because this is a huge book and a lot happens, and this one has never seen it. He doesn't know anything that's coming.
Not that I'm confused, I'm so in the old book. We went through all that show, and of course, from that era. So now, first and foremost, we went from the Book of Air, which I totally get, and then we go into the Book of Spirits.
Yeah.
What?
It's not fire, it's not water,
Not
it's
fire,
not
it's not
earth.
water. Something was like, all of a sudden we went from something I know to something like,
The fifth element.
The fifth element. We go into spirits. Okay.
Yeah.
What's going on? How did we get here? What's happening? Just tease me a little bit.
Well, I mean, the good thing is you have met all the characters, so you're up to speed as far as that.
Okay.
So, I mean, the difference between this, kind of how we structured Korra versus Avatar is, these are more standalone seasons.
Okay.
So that, if you just dropped in on book two, I think you could catch up and understand the characters and the story and stuff. But you've seen book one, so you're gonna be fine.
Yeah, I'm fine.
You're going to be fun. We're not going to meet any new characters in book two. None.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a few.
We do.
We do. How long before you found out from book, did you get an indication that there might be a call for book two, a request for book two as you're working on book one? Did some time pass? How did that come to be?
It was weird. As we've discussed, they greenlit book one before they even talked to us. And before there was even an idea, they were just like, get Mike and Bryan back and give us some bending, and here's 12 episodes.
That's flattering.
Yeah, it was cool. So, but they did ask, like Mike said, can you make the seasons more modular? Because we don't know how many we might do. We don't know if we'll do a second one or if this will just be it. And so we were like, sure. So I think we do our best work when we kind of fly under the radar, and we're not bothered too much by the corporate overlords. And so we were just working away on book one, and there's some more drama behind the scenes, but we were told, this is it. You get these 12, and then you got to give us something else. And we were like, yeah, whatever. So we were just working on it. And then the overlords came months later after not checking in. And we put together a little sizzle out of the animatics that we had and showed a bunch of the artwork. And they were like, this is amazing. Why are we only doing 12? They forgot their own angry mandate.
Right.
Oh, no.
And that led... I don't remember exact timing, but that led to book two getting picked up. And then we were picked up for all 54 episodes before we had ever aired a single one.
Yeah, that makes me feel less crazy, because I definitely, when people are like, it must have been so tense for you, not knowing, you must have just thought you were just doing one. And I was like, honestly, I feel like I felt like I knew we were probably going to do several seasons, but maybe I'm crazy or I'm wrong. I think I remember hearing there was at least a plan that there would only be 4 if there were even 4, but I
don't know. For some reason we like books of 4. I mean, that has sort of I don't know, worked out. Or 50 to 60 episodes seems like a good number for Avatar stories. I don't also remember exactly how it went down, but there's so much overlap with animation, so
sure.
We knew that we would be doing, at least book 2 while we were still in the throes of book 1. So we just kept rolling, and that's when we, knew we needed more help.
I will say, I think we were done writing.
Yeah, for sure.
Writing book 1 before we heard. Again, this sort of, Mike, Bryan, creative carte blanche, do whatever you want. We were like, cool, this is what we want to do. And they were like, this isn't what we want. We're like, well, you told us we could do whatever we wanted.
Tale as old as time.
This is
in
what we're
Hollywood.
doing. And we were told angrily, well, okay, that's it. But then you have to do something else. Like I said, they forgot, came back, said, this is amazing.
Right.
And then they tested the first few episodes, and they tested incredibly well. And so that's how we ended up getting the order for the whole series before we had even aired.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
Well, coming off the first book now, with the show here, it's so we say it. Every episode is so action packed, like a lot.
There's
happens.
no fat on the.
There's no
fat
filler.
in it at
like
all.
there's no filler in any of this. These episodes. This is wild.
that's the size of a book, a season that we originally wanted to do on Avatar, but Nickelodeon wanted 20 episodes instead of 12. So yeah, Mike and I were excited because it could just be plot. And then so the drama didn't end there. It was really hard. It was very action-packed, and our beloved animation studio said, peace out. Thanks for the memories. Like that was cool. That was really hard.
You broke them. You broke the.
They
were
broke
tired.
them.
They were tired.
They bailed, and so we had this pickup, but all of a sudden we didn't have a studio, and we had raised the bar so high that it was already hard to find studios that could do Avatar.
Right.
But we had raised it so much higher. So we were in a real predicament, and that's why book 2 was so delayed, because we didn't have a vendor. So we went from working with South Korean studios to Japan, and that we had been warned that wasn't always the most compatible kind of industry for U.S. animation, and we went in knowing that and being really open about that, and we still got trounced by the whole situation, and it seriously took years off my life.
If I'm not mistaken, in your intro, which is really the first thing you read at all in the art book for book 2, I was like, can't wait to crack into book 2. And I opened it, I was like, oh, look, there's Mike and look, there's Bryan and Mike's intros, and then the first sentence is just, book 2 was hard.
It was
like,
brutal.
here we go.
Yeah, I would say that was probably the most challenging season to actually just produce. Creatively, there was tons of stuff I love about it.
I mean, how because we really get just a sprinkling of the idea of the spirit world in terms of like what we see in this book. From the first series, we have these wonderful moments with Heibai, and we have the dragons, and we have things are happening, certainly, but even then were you like, God, I wish we could do more. If we had more, we could do more in terms of like what's happening in the spirit world. So it's so beautiful and interesting.
Yeah, there was part of that. I mean, book 1 was so like grounded in the city and the urban fighting in the streets and all that stuff, and we knew we wanted to take Korra on this more spiritual path. And we had done stuff with the spirit world in the original series, but wanted to like, okay, here's a chance to like, we'll just deep dive into the spirit world. And we had the old story about the first Avatar kind of in the back of our minds. It's like, oh, this might be the place to like explore all that mythology and really tie it all together. So it was a lot to unpack, but
and you guys were like, we just wrote everything for the first book. What if we ask a couple of people to come in and help us with the directing, but also of course the writing, and 2 familiar names that we know and love from the first series. Josh and Tim came in, and
it was a real treat on book 1 of Korra to be able to write with Mike and I. We had spent the time in between Avatar and Korra just writing together and like really taking what we had learned from the system Aaron set up on the Avatar room, and then we were just kind of like honing our process of writing together. So that was really great. During production, I would spend as much time as I could in the writer's room, but I couldn't be in there all the time. I was doing notes on all the drafts and everything. So it was a real treat. But then once we hit like overlap production, my duties as in with art direction just took over. So I couldn't be in there all the time for book 2. So we brought still wanted to keep the room small, so we just brought back Tim and Josh.
Tim and Josh were available. They were great. Always been great to work with. And,
we can agree.
We have them. We have them on the podcast. They're great to talk to.
Yeah, the storytelling is beautiful, and we won't go too deep into it for if those of you who maybe are waiting to watch along with us, or Dante, of course, who we know makes a prediction about what he thinks is going to happen in every episode. And the last episode we did, I was like, you want to just take a big swing and say what you think is going to happen in Spirits? What's going to go on the whole season?
I have no idea, because I feel like it's like we got the bad guy. I don't know where we're going.
Well, that was he said. He was like, one of your predictions was like Amon's not dead.
I said maybe Amon's not dead, even though we saw him die, which was so cinematic and so beautiful and so wild.
Yeah,
we played what we would joke throughout the series, zombie Amon coming back, kind of like an old creep show.
Yeah.
Like he's just come back
Googly
out of the water,
eye, weird
seaweed
slimy,
all over him, and
I mean, he was a great villain,
He was fun.
a great villain, and a very new, I kept saying through the first book, I'm not an equalist apologist, but I get it.
Of course.
We always
I was
absolutely.
The idea of equality is kind of the whole democratic concept, and then I get it. Then you're like, there's a slippery slope of what's going on here.
Yeah.
No, they had a point, and we tried to show that it led to a change. It wasn't just we beat the villain. It was like, hey, you know what? They need representation. People need representation in Republic City. It's not just this kind of experiment.
And what's wild is, as we've been going through Korra, and in the podcast we always do
I knew you were going to bring this up. It's a perfect time for it.
We do the end of every recap. We always go what was the most valuable bending moment, and what's the most valuable non-bending moment. And in this new Korra world for us, bending, not that it's insignificant. It's not as overpower. It's not as OP as it's not as evident. This is the most powerful bending moment. Matter of fact, a lot of the non-bending moments have become a lot more.
There's more to chew. There's more to chew on
in the stories.
Where we're but we kind of love that, because here you have this sort of
right.
A time period in which technology is catching up in a sense.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have what we saw with the mecha takes and stuff like that. Yeah. There's sort of there's an equalizing that might be happening with resources and money and stuff, not dissimilar from what actually was happening in that era
Industrial
in
Revolution.
the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah,
and stuff.
and there's
It's
also
cool.
we tried to show, in Aang's time, lightning bending was so rare.
Oh, that's the other thing I took offense to as Zuko.
That's the way.
It's true.
That's the way things work. In my day, coming up, it took Tony Hawk 10 years to land.
Do 720.
Yeah.
And then now I just saw
all day long
8-year-old kid just did 3
Are you kidding me?
in a row.
To do a kickflip, to land a kickflip was awesome.
If you could land a kickflip in my neighborhood on those giant, heavy, wide boards back in the late 80s.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
And now every kid on every block is landing kickflips like nobody's business.
I liked seeing, only the royal family in the Fire Nation knew how to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
And then 70 years later, it's they've got people working
in the
factory.
factory.
It's so good.
In the
It's
factory.
so good.
So as soon as they did the factory, I was like, are you kidding me? And not only that, metal bending. Yeah. Everyone's metal bending. I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Evolution.
Yeah.
Mike and I we like to show, that the world changes.
I felt like an oldie coming into the future going, what's happening here?
Yeah.
They got cell phones? Everyone has a telephone in their pocket?
Yeah. And without getting too deep into it, also for everyone's sake, it's not as though the spirit world is the only thing that's happening in book 2 that is different and kind of upping the stakes from book 1. There's a change of location, but then there's a return to a location we know. But there's also a whole thing that's a side journey that's wonderful, that explores sort of old movies and the creation of film and how that fits into messaging to the people about what's happening in real life. I mean, there is a lot. It's a dense season. I'm worried for your brain.
No, I can't wait.
You're going to be blown away because you're a film buff.
I'm a film buff, so I can't. I mean, and I love that era of Hollywood. I love how Asami has that, the Rita Hayworth thing going on.
Sure.
Beifong has was it Dietrich?
Marlene Dietrich,
vibe. So these are actors I love, and so seeing that in the first book was pretty phenomenal. And again, going back to the first book, just the brother story of Amon that's so cinematic, that culminating that last scene.
Oh, we
I mean, you could do a
loved-
movie on these two brothers outside of the bending world and their trauma with their father and just
we
how
love
it developed.
we love generational trauma.
Generational
centered
You're
around
trauma.
very
traumas.
good at it.
Yeah.
You're very good
I
at it.
think-
It's true that this is our chance to talk because we're hot off
Oh,
of
God.
the finale, which we did with Andrea Romano and D. Bradley
Right.
Baker, and we really dug into Tarlok, and like
Oh.
I didn't feel, I mean, I just don't remember feeling that strongly about, that's why I love doing the show, is I don't remember feeling that strongly about Tarlok one way or the other, like when we were doing it the first way. Like in terms of sort of where he ends, you're thinking so much about Amon, you're thinking so much about him that we ended up, I walked away going like,
heavy.
Tarlok is the hero of
It's
book
so
one.
heavy, and he was
Like,
such a
he's
slimy
so-
guy.
He has,
Going
his
head against-
redemption is wonderful. Like it's a wonderful
It's a
story.
movie. Those two brothers is a movie. It's so phenomenal.
I remember this Tumblr post I made back when the episodes were coming out, and I was like, because the fans back then, if we did anything like a plot twist or
Right.
Yeah.
or not even a twist, just like something happened, they were like, "You guys are trolls," and I was like, "Trolls? Like
You're trolling
this
the
is a
audience.
story,
Yeah.
Like, you have to have conflict." And,
Yeah.
and I remember writing like, Tarlok was a bigger tool than you thought, or something.
In many ways.
Yep.
No, that's an amazing, that's beautiful. And it continues on this idea that you guys carry through the next 3 seasons as well, which is the ambiguity of the conflict and the adversarial relationships, that it isn't just, well, it's very simple. This is right, this is wrong. There you go. Like easy peasy. We don't see that. I mean, it's fair to say we don't see that across any of the seasons. And that's one of the things that people talk about, I think, not just with Avatar, but almost specifically with Korra, is people really want to talk about how complex the storytelling is and how you're not making it easy for people to just go like, oh, bad, good,
Right. I think
And-
obviously it was that way in the first series, but they were kids and there was a certain way to deal with the conflict and
Yeah,
that
but
stuff.
you get to the Earth Kingdom.
Oh, yeah, no,
it's-
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we always try to, and the writers, always try to show the complexity of life and society.
I think that was like the groundbreaking thing with Avatar, especially within American animation, of this, just the world's not Autobots and Decepticons. Like there's a generation of us, myself included, that grew up with
Yeah.
the cartoons and the animation we love, but it was like Autobots and Decepticons. Like there's a distinct, these are the good guys, these are the bad guys. Nothing's gonna really change. Where you guys really changed the game. Where now
Would you say they transformed the game?
transformed the game? But
How do I drop
miniseries
this? It's on a thing. How do I drop the mic?
many series have since Avatar have followed in those footsteps and try to integrate that.
Yeah. Well, in book 2, you also, again, because we have the spirit world playing such a big role and we have the kind of film, again, I don't want to get too into it, but those are also very
We have
different
spirits and
lush
movies. Spirits and
looks.
movies.
That's what I'm saying, my friend. Very lush, very beautiful. Are you bringing in more painters? Are you able to do, like, do you have people that you're like,
Yeah,
we need to
we-
find somebody who can do these spirits? For, like, what is that like?
The way we set up book 1 of Korra was a bit of an experiment. Again, at the time, we only knew that we had those 12, and so we worked a lot with Mir doing design. But even I think before we knew they were dropping out, we were like, okay, we need an in-house design crew, and so that's when we met a lot of really key people that we still work with today, like Christy Sang and William New and Christine Bion. Those folks came on board, and we and others, and it was great. It was nice to have like an in-house team that I was working with, and they were so like full of energy and young and inspiring to be around, and they were already so amazing. So whenever you get like Fred Stewart and Emily Tetry and so many great people, just level it up and bring new energy, and it was great. Like we had some of them on book 1, but we had to build a bigger team. So yeah, that was exciting. And yeah, I mean, book 2 again. It's hard for me to look at it without the drama of all the production stuff. Like we did go to Japan, and
Which sounds fun.
that part was going to Japan. Was fun. And it's a longer story than we have time for, but we ended up working with a studio, but then they weren't working out. And then by the time they bailed, the other studio that originally bailed came and saved us from the situation. So book 2 is a mix of studios. Mir came back. They did Beginnings. They did the Avatar One origin stories.
Forget you're hearing this.
Okay.
And then they did. They came and did the end of book 2 with Studio Rev and on it. So for me, I mean, book 2 it's very uneven, but it has some of my favorite stuff in it. It has some of my favorite visuals that we've done, some of my favorite sequences, and it's just getting there was painful, and it's a little uneven because we were sort of thrown to the wolves.
Don't
Like
look at me.
animation wise.
You know it's gonna be stuff you'll never notice. You'll never notice. They know, but you'll never know.
I'm getting a very keen eye for this.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I love The Great Divide.
I look forward to
The Great
pointing
Divide.
out.
I am curious if you like when you watch this, you're like, something's different about this. I can't tell, but it might
Honestly,
be.
I don't think I've ever thought that. But I'm so
I
wide-eyed
do.
and
I mean,
doe-eyed.
just talking to you guys over the last few years about it, I've been looking at the animation, like just to see, like feel different things. Like, oh, maybe this is what he's talking about. Like this is drawn a little, just ever so slight things I would never have caught before. But now you look at it and you're like, oh, that does look, maybe something feels a little different there.
But yeah, the highs in book 2 are very high for me, just in terms of it coming together. It's just, it's a little rocky in between.
The 6 months that passes, spoiler, that's a
6
bit of a
months that
foreshadow.
passes before we start.
Foreshadow
Okay.
report. I'm just going to lay it down for you.
All right.
You're going to find that out super fast when you watch
6
the next
months.
episode.
It's like 6 months
passes.
later.
Is that like what? It's a small thing, but is there any reason that it was 6 months and not a year, or a month
I don't
or 2
remember
months?
why we picked 6 months exactly. I knew we just wanted, we needed some time to pass because again, it was like, it's a new story. It's like, it's not like it happens the next week after Amon is defeated. They need to catch their breaths a little bit. And, Korra's visits
Korra and Mako are
goes back
dating now.
home.
They're dating now for 6 months, you're saying? That's a good amount of time for teenagers.
That's like 5 years in teenage years.
Yeah,
We've been
you
together
catch up.
forever. 6 months already.
I mean, I always like stories where you come into a new season and it's like you're catching up. Like, oh, some stuff happened since last
Absolutely.
season. I always like that stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Got new jobs.
Yeah.
Got new job.
Mako got a job.
He's not at the plant anymore doing that lightning bending all day.
He's a cop.
He's a police.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It's fun.
He's part of the gang. He's a policeman now
Yeah.
I mean,
with that scarf.
Yeah.
we'll have to see. We'll
there
have
was
to see.
debate about the scar. I had forgotten about that, but the original design, he was this cop with this red scarf, and I was like, come on. Just gotta leave the scarf in the locker
No
room.
scarf. Okay, no scarf. No scarf.
Yeah, maybe
Oh,
it's
yeah.
underneath.
I think it is underneath, maybe. I forget.
It might be underneath.
There was a time when I wore a scarf, but we live in LA, and that scarf had to go quickly.
Yeah.
You had some Uggs and a scarf.
I was like, I was at the club with a scarf. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
All right. I always like talking about the Comic-Cons just because I am such a fan of what you choose to share. And I feel like I have a pretty, of all the Comic-Cons, for some reason, this one and then watching Korra alone in New York are, I think, even more so than the first Comic-Con. I really remember book 2 because I remember, I'm sure, unless I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you guys shared winter clothes. Like for me, people were so excited about but how do you guys, what conversations are you having when you're like, okay, we're going to a con, this is a place where we know the fans are hoping to see, get a sneak peek, get a sense of something. How much do we reveal? How little do we reveal? Like, what is that process like for you in general when you're making those kinds of decisions?
I mean, part of it is what is actually ready to show.
Okay. Fair
just
enough.
like how much art has been done at that point. And then, obviously we don't want to give away any major spoilers, so we're not going to show like, hey, this is the big twist of this episode or something. And usually I think that one Jeff cut a trailer for.
Mm-hmm.
Those are always fun to do, so get people excited.
Yeah.
And Yeah, I mean, usually Bryan would choose the artwork based on, what sounds interesting, what is fun to look at, what is ready to go and ready to show and is not going to spoil anything for anybody.
Everyone loves that Water Tribe fashion. So if you want to bust out a different version of, beautiful winter attire, no one's going to complain about that.
With the Comic-Cons, especially San Diego Comic-Con, it's fascinating because from the first series to this series, I think collectively we were around the time of the blossoming of that Comic-Con and World Comic-Con, because I think when we initially started doing it, they've sent me down to Comic-Con. There was nothing really, I went down and signed some quick autographs, and it was just happening. Over the next few years, you can see the world of Comic-Con, starting with San Diego, happening
it was
in a
big.
big way.
It was big when we started going, but by the end, now Comic-Con is just as big outside of the convention hall as it is inside, or at least pre-COVID. I haven't been back. My big memory of Korra and Comic-Con was Book 2 and New York Comic-Con when we went to when we showed one of the episodes of Beginnings with Steve Yeun there.
Oh, cool.
And he just turned to me on stage and was like, "We're watching the episode now?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he had not done a lot of voice work at that time.
Yes, yeah.
It may have been the first or one of the first.
Was he nervous?
He was mortified and was like, I don't want to hear myself. And I was like, well, we're going to go sit on the floor in between the fans and watch it with them.
My name is Juan, and I will show you how I became the first Avatar.
And the poor guy was just...
No way.
Just the whole time.
I want to know, did you play any guitar on any of the music?
No, we didn't have any.
I would like Bryan to just shred on one of the dang tracks. Can you shred on one of the tracks?
Let's be clear about something. If you need shredding, Jeremy Zuckerman is a certified shredder.
He's a certified shredder.
He would know better than I, but the only bit of guitar I can think of in any Avatar score was when Aang was in the heavy metal, crazy armor.
Yeah.
What do you think? Pretty slick, huh? All I need to complete the outfit is a windsword.
What's a windsword?
It's where I get a sword handle, and then I just swing this around and bend air out like a blade.
Jeremy did some shredding. Yeah, I can't shred.
Some chords?
No, I play guitar.
Some rhythm?
I play guitar, but there's we just have to be clear about legitimate fretboard shredding is
100%.
The guy who went to college for that.
It's true.
Is Jeremy.
That's true. That's true.
And even if he didn't, he's better than I am. But no, I did not play any music on any Avatar scores. It's all Jeremy and his collaborators.
We'll touch base with him, but I one of the things that I noticed about Book 2 with the music is because you have these threads of past avatars coming in more profoundly than you do in Book 1. I think for what I remember is that there was just some wonderful blending of themes and and certainly you do that a little bit in Book 1, but hearing what we associate with Aang, but then also having Juan almost have his own sound, and then you're still blending in music that we've come to know from Korra. It's just very, very beautiful, and I don't know how he keeps finding ways to make us cry all over again with a new perfect progression that you're just my heart is broken and it's also mending simultaneously. But it's such a huge, important companion to these huge scenes where very big stuff is happening. Thank goodness that you had somebody that could meet that, because if you had something that was not a fit, or how hard would that have been if Jeremy was I gotta go, you guys.
No, luckily he's been involved in both series, so
beautiful.
Yeah, I do remember the beginnings.
Yes.
Towards
that's what I'm definitely
the
thinking
end of it.
of. It's
that
just
music was incredible, and then at the end of the season, those 3 episodes were so intense. And it is. Everything's on such a grand scale.
Yeah.
For us, I mean, the fights in this season are quite literally larger than anything we had ever done. And, Jeremy just always. I'm so enamored with the music throughout the entire Korra series, just with Hong's instrumentation, playing solos, and just more live strings, and It's really Jeremy like taking all of the learnings from Avatar and just it's what we tried to do across the board with like the art direction and like you said, just having fewer episodes, like we could be leaner and meaner with the stories, and just tried to level everything up. And Jeremy, definitely leveled up.
He showed
the
up.
Scores.
He shredded.
He did.
In a manner of speaking.
Yeah.
In a manner of speaking.
Shredding.
So we are used to kind of the nations being at war or in conflict with one another. All due respect to the Fire Nation. I know you get a little sensitive when I start bringing up the 100-Year War.
I know.
But in Spirits, again, foreshadow report, Dante.
Okay.
You're exploring more of kind of an internal conflict, right? I mean, it's more suddenly we've never thought of the northern and southern water tribes as being anything other than like, well, there's the northern water tribe and the southern water tribe. And and they seem to have a relationship. We have characters who came from one to the other in the first Avatar series. And so what was the conversation like as you're talking about like, what if this unit of people that you don't think of as being in conflict necessarily has a big conflict?
Yeah, I mean, we had some ideas about that there's a long history of, discord between the sister tribes. And because we were, book one was all in Republic City and we wanted to get out and explore the world a little bit more. So, yeah, with the spirits and stuff, I forget exactly how we got there, but the fact that Korra's from the South, spend more time with her. Like we saw a little glimpse of her parents in book one, but it was a chance to understand her parents more, especially her dad, and then learning about her uncle who's from the north. So there was this organic way to get into not just her personal family kind of there's another brothers rivalry going on.
Another brother. A lot of brothers going on.
Yeah.
I'm sure there won't be any sister issues.
Not at all. And then
in
you
any
got,
of the
you got Tenzin and his siblings. There's a lot of sibling rivalry issues.
This is going to be big
unpack.
for you because you love to talk about you've been able to relate your family dynamics
Of course,
to many things in Avatar.
I love how Avatar, on top of all these magical things happening and epic things happening, it's stories about families.
Yeah. This season, this book in particular, I know that was a big thing. Mike was like, he really wanted to lean into the kind of family. I think you wrote in the art book like family strife, you know. And I would add to some of the ideas for the conflict that we were going to explore between the North and the South. Came from the results of the war. Like they didn't start that war.
Right.
They didn't ask for it, but it really impacted them. It also really separated them. They were cut off from each other, for the better part of 100 years.
Right.
And the South, because the Fire Nation knew that the Avatar, if they had gotten him with the comet, then they thought, well, the next Avatar would be in the South, so they really hammered the South. So the South got hit harder. The North retreated inward.
Again, by the Fire Nation.
Yes.
So it ends up like cutting them off, impacting them differently.
Right.
So now we're in this post-war era, and even though they didn't ask for those things and didn't do them to each other, it sort of put them on different trajectories and some conflict.
But I felt that from the first series, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I originally thought, I know I was wrong, that the Southern Water Tribe, because I was like, we only see the
handful
village. I'm
of
like, this is so
igloos.
small. But they always, when they were going to the Northern Water Tribe, it was always like this thing.
grandeur
And when
and
they
the-
went there, and even the guy at the Northern Water Tribe was talking down about the Southern Water Tribe people.
You're just a simple rube from the Southern Tribe. What would you know of the political complexities of our life?
You felt it, it wasn't like hit down on the head, but it's like you could feel there was some kind of tension there.
We always wanted it like this family strife thing, like Mike said, they're sister tribes. It's a rivalry.
Yeah.
It's a sibling rivalry, and sometimes it's maybe more volatile and sometimes it's just sort of fun.
So maybe it's getting volatile is what you're saying in this book.
Well, then, so I think this is not necessarily like spoiling much because we find this out fairly early. And also, I think we don't get the detail about what happened that you guys have given us here, because there's just not time to like go into, you're not going to go into a whole episode that's just about the North and the South rebuilding or the South rebuilding. But in the art book, there you do, I think it's you, Mike, who's like, well, this is a good opportunity to sort of lay out a little bit more clearly what happens and that the North really has to help the South rebuild, which would only like increase the tension potentially if you have more and can supply and help this other community rebuild, then you sort of feel like you have potentially the right to say this should happen or this shouldn't happen. We should be able to tell you to do this or not do this, because you wouldn't even be back to what you are, which still isn't as great as us, had we not stepped in, which is really big sibling kind of energy, right? Am I wrong about that?
No, I think you're definitely onto something there. And I guess so. I said that. Huh?
Yeah, I read
I don't remember that.
I read it last night. There was something.
I should have read this book. Sounds great.
You and I both, Mike. You and I both.
There was something in the caption. I was like, wait, what? But anyways, yeah,
well,
it's
canon
just,
now.
Again, it's just this idea that like life is messy. Things don't happen equally to to parties. Some get it worse than others, but resentments grow and it was to your point, Janet. It was told more through the brothers. It was told more through like.
But it makes sense that they represent that larger thing. I'm so excited for you.
Oh, I know what I was
going
to say. There's a comic that we did.
North and South.
Yeah, the North and South comic for Aang and Katara and Sokka. It was more about Katara and Sokka going back home, and like it is about like rebuilding after the war, and like the North had sent waterbenders down to help and train people. And,
the North, their water tribe is lush.
So there's definitely some.
It's a little schmancy.
Schmancy.
Yeah, it was always a sort of the idea was a sort of yin yang. The essences of the kind of zeitgeist in each tribe was a sort of feminine, masculine, graceful, like versus a more kind of rough and ready. Sort of spiritual versus physical, and the spiritual emphasis, not that they weren't spiritual in the South, but there was just like a different emphasis in the North. So it was, again, it's not good or bad or evil and, whatever. It's more just different essences being kind of expressed.
It's cool. It's just fascinating. Like, I mean, we have North and South Pole here, but like the idea of there's like Fire Nation over here, and then there's like Earth Kingdom, but like the water tribes there's two of them.
Two but one.
Two but one. It's very cool.
We're we might be diving deeper into that now and stuff we're working on.
Okay.
Interesting. And yet we won't talk about it. Okay. Speaking of, that just like triggered this for me, which I love, is even just thinking about more family members being introduced.
Okay.
And we definitely want to touch on Tenzin's family a little bit more as well. But we have Korra being the Korra that she is. And then we have her uncle, who you just heard we meet, Tonrak's brother.
Okay.
And then he has kids. And these are two kids who surely are very different essences than Korra.
Yeah.
There's two. They're twins.
Water tribe.
Yeah.
Water tribe twins.
Can you tell? Is there like any origin story of like coming up with those two, because they are very memorable and very different from Korra?
A lot of the like the more humor stuff, having Tim and Josh back, like, we always try to add humor to our stuff, but like they're
funny
great
guys.
at that.
They're funny guys.
So like, I think we had the ideas for that Unalaq had kids and Korra has cousins. What would that be like? But just the weirdness of it all, I feel like is, Tim and Josh combo. And then, when we meet Varrick, who's also from the Southern Water Tribe.
Varrick.
That's pretty much pure Tim.
That's like pure
Lord.
Tim nuttiness of like,
Varrick.
what if there was this Howard Hughes guy in the South?
Howard Hughes.
He always pitches ideas where at first you're like, that sounds ridiculous, and there's no way that fits in Avatar. And then the more you get into it, you're like, how could he be otherwise?
How
He's
could he be
perfect.
otherwise? That's one of my all-time favorite characters in the entire Avatarverse.
Yeah.
And
Varrick sounds like a bad guy, like Vader.
Well,
That's what's fun.
This is what's so great about that character is, there's a lot going on.
He's pure positivity. So he's always positive. He's always chipper.
Miss Sato, he's with you? Mm-hmm. Brought your tiger shark with you to do business, huh? Now that's moxie! Get over here and pop a squat.
But he is morally ambiguous,
Yeah.
and which is really fun. He's never like outwardly trying to be bad, but he's not always doing good things.
He's very self-interested. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, you could really see how someone with that kind of dynamic personality, you're just going along for the ride, and then all of a sudden, like, wait, what did I just agree to? Like, what did I tell him was a good idea? Hold on.
Howard Hughes is kind of like a madman. Did we know if he was good or bad? He was just like Howard Hughes. He was
I mean,
a weirdo.
You know, all of these a lot of these characters end up being a big part of the whole series, to the point that when I was kind of refreshing my memory on book 2, I was like, oh, I forgot all like all these characters were introduced in book 2.
Oh, yeah.
And
Wow.
I feel like you're going to be saying that a lot. I feel like you're going to be saying,
Eska and
anyway,
Desna.
Eska and Desna.
Very
Eska
fun,
and Desna.
very, very goth and like
Goth.
very, but also very like, you know, they just have this like this weird kind of creepy like hunching.
It's vulture-y kind of like
there's
Gothy. May was gothy in the first series.
There really is no fathoming the depths of my hatred for this place.
This is like a different version. It's more
different.
like sulky and
it is more emo. It is more emo.
It's creepy and emo, and they're fun. They're super fun.
We're not saying emos are creepy at all out there. We love you emos out there.
Creepy emo, you know, a subgenre of emo.
There you go.
Yeah.
You amuse me. I will make you mine.
You mean like a boyfriend or like a slave?
Yes. Win me prizes.
They're wonderful. All the cast that you have for book 2 is insane. The cast you had for book 1 was insane, and yes, 3 and 4 as well. You bring in some heavy hitters
the cast
for book
Korra
2.
is wild. I'm like, wow, the cast. Like, we had a cool cast. But like the cast got crazy. You guys got wild with the cast, which is amazing.
Thanks for laying that groundwork for us.
Well, we were glad to be of help. But the cast here, every time I'm reading who's on this show, I was like,
who's that voice?
A mix of.
It's really impressive.
It's quite impressive.
And again, the gift of us being able to record so much together, you're actually having that interaction.
I think I told this story recently, but when you were in the booth with Rami Malek, and he was, you know,
Rami Malek is in the series.
You saw him already.
He plays the wolf guy. What guy?
Yeah. He's a
I
wolf
forget that guy. Yes.
So he's Tano, and I just remember he was doing his like, "Hey Korra," like really close to the mic, and we got to the end of the take, and you ripped your headphones off, and you were like, "Ugh."
Yeah, he was way too good.
Lovely person.
He was way too good.
Tell me, how'd a couple of amateurs like you luck your way into the tournament? Especially you, Avatar.
Again, Rami, I know that you didn't get the invite because it never went to you directly. I don't have your
Rami
contact
before
info
the
anymore.
Oscar.
Oh yeah, before.
This is pre-Oscar. He was so good.
We saw him in.
I really had to get over how good he was.
We saw him in the Pacific,
and he's
I was
lovely and wonderful.
I was obsessed with him in the Pacific.
Oh yeah, and he loved being there. That's another one where I remember we were hanging out at the wrap party for book 1, and we were just talking. He was just like lit up that he got to be in Korra.
Yeah, he was so fun to work with.
That's why I know he will come on eventually. But yeah, he was amazing.
Wow.
But yeah, that some of that was and then there's the version of that with Henry Rollins where I was like intimidated because he's a hero, and then also he was like absolutely terrifying. So
Henry Rollins.
Also, total
He's
teddy
coming.
bear.
Total teddy bear.
I
Super
mean,
comedy
flash forward.
nerd.
Sweet,
like
very sweet.
Actually, Black Flag Henry Rollins.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good guy, bad guy.
Get ready for book 3.
Get ready for book 3. Still some
Hey,
lot
when
of
I got to do the
surprises.
show, I met some very cool actors.
You might like this show,
Yeah.
Dante.
I might like the show. Hey,
I
I
think
mean, so far, I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah. And you do great, Zyro.
You know, I was great. When I met Eve Marie Saint, was like, what?
Oh yeah.
I know.
Right.
When she played Avatar, I was like looking
Talk
at her
about
during
royalty.
the table read. I'm like looking at her like is that who I think? And I looked at the call sheet. I was like, I had to go talk to her on a break. Like, hey, Miss Saint.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Oh, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. What a perfect Katara. If we have to meet Katara as a very old woman, which is emotionally a little bit painful
Eve
at
Marie
first.
Saint.
It's Eve Marie Saint. Couldn't have done better on that.
It's phenomenal.
Let's touch on you mentioned it before, Tenzin and his siblings. I mean, that's a big deal.
Not his kid, not his kid siblings. He is his actual siblings.
His actual siblings.
Oh.
This is Aang and Katara's kids, y'all.
Yeah.
This is their children. It's not just Tenzin. He has a sister. He has a brother. They aren't Airbender. I'm gonna spoil it.
They're not
aren't
Airbenders.
Yeah,
And
so
their
Tenzin
dynamic
Waterbenders.
is-
They could be waterbenders.
well,
One
there's
of them.
Good call.
Tenzin is the youngest, and then
He's the baby.
Which is mind blowing. I mean, that's when you get to it, you'll have to keep
even though
reminding
he's
yourself.
in his 50s, but
It's kind of like Azula and Zuko, where you're like, wait, which one is younger and which one is older? Just because of the way their dynamic is.
and then there's Kaya, who's his older sister, who's a waterbender.
Waterbender. Okay, makes sense.
And then
Boomy.
who you see him briefly at the end of book 1, as I recall, where he's on the ship.
Oh yeah, he's on the ship. Yeah, hey everybody. Yeah, he has the same Boomy
I
energy as Boomy.
forgot.
Yeah, he has the same energy.
So he's a non-bender, and he's like a
Non-bender.
general, commander,
He's a
general,
commander.
something
Admiral.
in the,
Yeah.
admiral in the United Forces. So
Yay! Uncle Boomy's here!
So he's the oldest brother.
He's the oldest,
Yeah,
but he's like
the firstborn.
He's
of-
goofy.
And he's not a bender.
He's
He's
not
a
a bender.
non-bender.
That's
He's-
rough.
He's very
That's rough,
goofy.
Boomy. That's rough,
Yeah.
Boomy. I'm so sorry. That's rough, buddy.
And this is very basic, but
You're like, I love the Equalists, and
I
now
know,
you're
I
like,
know.
oh, he's not a bender.
I know.
he bullies up
Yeah.
so quick. He bullies up
I
so
don't love
quick.
the Equalists. I don't love the Equalists. Let's
Yeah.
get that. I don't
Bit,
love them.
Yeah.
bit of an imperialist attitude over there.
I get where they're coming from.
Yeah.
They're not. There's
No, we talked about you.
some
here's
of
what,
the benders are getting out of
Looking down your nose from the
Yeah.
from the fire.
from the Royal
Yeah.
Fire
This is the
Nation
thing.
family.
Here's what happened. If I may just quickly encapsulate most of book 1. Most of book 1 was you're so traumatized from defending the Fire Nation that you kept defending the Equalists even though no one was arguing with you on that
I'm
one.
not
You're like,
defending 'em,
I'm
I'm
sorry,
just-
but the Equals were like, yes, we all feel that way about the Equalists, Dante. You're like,
I know.
I'm just saying. We're
I'm
like,
just
we
saying.
also agree with that.
Okay,
we do
cool.
agree with
All
that.
right,
They have a
cool.
point. Tenzin is not named after anyone?
It was just I think Mike, was very inspired by Tibetan culture and.
I mean, I love his name. I love that it has a Z.
It
in
wasn't
it.
a specific
Z,
human.
when
But
I
not
see
in the-
Z,
yeah, I mean,
I
they
see
named
Fire Nation, which I like.
Boomy is
That's
named
why I was
after
bringing it up.
Aang's
Oh,
old
yeah,
friend.
what's
So
his
just
old
making
friend?
sure you
Boomy.
mentioned it.
Oh, I
He's
thought
gonna
you
name
meant someone in the real world. No.
Oh no! But Kaya obviously is Katara's mom, right? Do you remember?
Kaya was
Oh,
the.
that's
Kaya's-
Graham?
she's-
Gaya's mom's daughter. She
Kaya-
Grandma's daughter.
died.
The little history on Kaya is that was Katara's original name in the original series.
Looking good, Kaya.
But we were told we couldn't use it because there was a video game that had a character named Kaya. So I was standing in an airport and Mike called and was like, yeah, we need a new name. And I just said, Katara. It just
Katara's
came
such
out.
a
Yeah.
good name. Such
just-
a great name.
I just remember being
Isn't
at
that
SFO
so
and it
I
just.
feel like I've
interesting?
never even heard that name before the series.
And now there are people.
And now
named-
there are kids named
Yeah.
Katara. I've
There
met quite
sure
a full
are.
of Kataras.
But we still liked the name Kaya and wanted to use it. So we used it for her mother, and then we ended up using it
For the sister.
Yeah.
Kaya.
I believe in the test pilot, she was still named Kaya because I remember
Yeah, I think so.
Jack going Kaya. That's like burned into my brain.
Leave him alone!
Kaya. Shout out to
Katara,
Jack
you
DeSena.
snapped into the flow so fast that it just tumbled out of you. Katara, snapped in, snapped back out
That
of
was
the
a moment
being
of
in flow
genius. That was
state.
great.
It was
Because it's
just-
so perfect.
I've said it
Because
before.
you could have just said
Mike hates naming characters, and we
It's
had
true,
this
you
name,
have said that.
and we had hung on to the name. It was in the test pilot, and then he called and he's like, "We can't use it." And I was-
Oh, after all that, you couldn't
You
use
could have
it.
came
I
out and
love
like,
naming
Clarissa.
characters.
It could have been anything.
That's one of my favorite
I mean,
things
it's
when
just
I'm
hard
writing.
sometimes. I don't
Oh,
hate
it's
it.
definitely
I mean,
hard.
you need character names. It's not
Yeah.
like I wouldn't do it. It just,
Right.
sometimes
That'd be so
like,
weird.
kind
Mike
of
will no
wait,
longer name
wait
characters.
longer than
Yeah.
maybe is necessary.
There are plenty parts of the process I don't enjoy, so I'm not picking on Mike. It's just one thing he doesn't love doing.
Yeah.
Names are
It is
important.
nice when working with writers now where it's like people are just naming stuff. They bring me names and I'm like either, and only occasionally I'm like, let's find another name for that. But
Yeah.
usually I'm like, great, you named it.
You did it.
Perfect.
Great,
Love
great.
it.
It's not
Wonderful.
always important, but these names,
Well, they stick around,
They
yeah.
stick around. People
Yeah.
name kids. If it's the right name, it's just like.
And it doesn't matter what we do. Everyone, except for Katara, everyone pronounces it differently than we do. So yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, there's been that problem for sure.
Zuko and Katara are probably the only ones that
Everyone.
are pretty consistent.
Wait, really? Wait, what am I missing?
Soka, Toph,
Aang, Toph,
Ero. I can't tell you.
Ero.
Even to this day, after...
May. It's like always like
People that like work on the project will say Ero. We got Appa.
Appa. I love you, Appa.
I've heard of a lot of different ones, but yeah, Katara. They never mess up Katara.
I can't believe I've heard all of those mistakes get made, and I blacked out, and I like wouldn't allow myself to remember them.
The best
of course,
is when
all
people
of
are
those.
like, I am the biggest fan ever. My favorite character is Sokka.
I love Toph.
I'm like, well,
Toph is
Toph.
Toph I've heard a lot.
Ero.
Some of them really sound different. Like saying Toph and not
is not
having
right.
that changes everything so fast. They're all different. Okay, a couple more questions before we let you go. Here we come into, from time to time, we will see the representation of not just 3 more avatars or 5 more past avatars, but all of the avatars. Some of them we get kind of a close-up look at, say in a Southern Air Temple, for example, where there might be a
We saw the
statue
statues
room.
of all of them. Yeah.
So what is it like? I mean, what are those conversations like? Are you guys doing it? Are you talking to Joaquin about it? Like, who's having the conversation? Like, well, I guess we have to design a bunch of avatars that we may or may not ever meet.
How many do you guys have?
What's that like?
It was, Mike and the writers going, yeah, and then we go back to the statue room, and I was like, please, no. Please, no. Christy Sang drew them. It's a nightmare because these are characters that we might be stuck with later.
Right. Totally.
And we go, Christy had to crank out 20 of these things in a week. And, like, we're stuck with nothing against Christy. She's an amazing designer. But, like, designing Aang, designing Korra, these were things that took weeks and months and, refining the design. To be like, oh, we're stuck with this one likeness from this one shot, If it were ever that, if it didn't fit, we'd probably just retcon
I would hope that you would,
and just be like, oh,
that was a different
the artist in the Avatar world didn't do a good job.
Yeah.
Or
there's bad statues everywhere. There's bad statues everywhere.
These, the Air Monks did their best, but they got them out of order, or whatever it was.
Okay, good. All right.
So it was tough, but then towards the end of book 1, we see a bunch of them in a shot that Ryu drew. Yeah. So I think we used a lot of those drawings. So actually, I would say it was Ryu and Christy.
Because you sort of show the main ones up
and then
front,
they get a little
and then
foggy,
you sort of like, it's getting dark up there. We can't really see all the details.
Smart, very
but
smart.
But over the years, like I've read a bunch of the books now. Kyoshi, Yang Chen. I haven't gotten to the Roku book yet, which I have to get into. But how many avatars do you guys have in the pocket? Do you guys have like?
Well, we know
dozen
that are known to us.
Avatar Susan.
Susan, great.
We were at some
Susan's Comet.
We were at some convention near LAX, and they asked about some avatar that showed up, and I just pretended that her name was Avatar Susan. But I would say there are more known than I know because I see their names pop up in the comics and stuff.
I mean, now we have, with those novels and stuff, sometimes writers will reference Avatar so-and-so. I'm like, I don't know who that is, but okay, I guess that could be a character someday.
God, that's so interesting to be world building like that and know, because it's not just any person. It's you, as we know, it is, one lifetime of the most important source of balance in the world. To just have
obviously
that,
the first 4 before Aang are the most
we know modern
being fleshed out in the novels and comics and stuff like that. And then in book 2 you will meet the OG Avatar.
I know of the OG. We talked about him in passing, I think.
Let me ask you this: how do you think the Avatar came to be? Like, what there was one first one. Yeah,
Avatar
this is the one you've heard about.
My friend cosplayed him. I don't know. He had messy hair.
It was
he has great hair.
Kind of like American Idol, but for avatars. They were auditioning.
He came out. He hit that high note.
So I'm going to spoil it for you. The spirits showed up, and they were like, "Look, we're producing a new movie, and we want to cast this new character, the Avatar." that's how it happened.
It is fascinating. Quick question: now, knowing that there is an OG Avatar, when you were doing the series, didn't have that yet? You just had the Avatar.
We did. I mean, we came up with the idea for one, not the name, but we came up with the idea for the original Avatar. I remember pitching, because we knew we were gonna do stuff with the lion turtles, and so Mike and I were kicking around some of the ingredients for what ended up in the Wan story. Definitely, we did not have everything. Tim and Josh added a lot with Mike, and then I, helped out on it too. But yeah, we had this idea of like the era before the Avatar, which they reference in Avatar.
Yeah, for sure.
It was like this lion turtle era, and there were kind of spirit wilds around the world, and the humans had to live on the turtles and stuff. So, yeah, we had these ideas, but a lot of the specifics, the Ravavatu stuff, came out of Korra writing. So
the lion turtles was a big idea in the first series,
the lion turtles,
which I love, and it's still a little confusing to me in my mind.
You might get a little more.
You might get
lion turtle action
a little
in this
more.
book.
It's still a little confusing. Like we're on the back of a turtle. Okay.
My friend, that may be all you need to know. Without going into too much detail, I will say that I just rewatched those episodes, the beginnings episodes, and it's so amazing what you accomplished because it has this like uncanny valley feeling where it gives me the same feeling that Miyazaki gives me, where it's like things are beautiful but unfamiliar and they sort of feel dangerous, but you can't put your finger on why. And there's things that are familiar in terms of like the art choices that you make when you're going back so far in time. I don't know. They're just very special. They have such a unique feeling all their own, and they give me almost a homesick feeling. It's very strange. I have this feeling of like, maybe I shouldn't know this. Like this is a lot of information, and like there's heavy stuff happening here, and we had this totally different relationship with these creatures or beings or essences that we now in this, I mean, it really is, it feels like it's happening to you, the viewer. You feel like you're finding something out.
This is,
it is.
I mean, she says Miyazaki films, which I understand the Miyazaki.
You know what I'm talking about?
Miyazaki films to me are
when
always
you watch,
haunting.
like,
There's like a haunting
Mononoke
feeling
or
about
Spirited
those.
Away, there's a feeling of like, there's more here than I can understand, and I think that's a
There's
very
haunting
powerful.
images of those things that still come back to me for some reason.
Thank you, and I mean that's the kind of the best compliment we could get, and I think that's the trick with the Spirit World stuff, and the trick with doing a whole season diving deeper into it is you don't want to midichlorian it. You don't want to get too like detailed. You don't want to explain everything. You're like, I'm a little confused. I'm like, that's probably good. You know, like you don't want it to be so logical and everything has a clear origin and cause and effect, because it's better if it is not meant to be just another version of our world. It is meant to be a totally different world that influences the physical world and vice versa, and that Avatar is this bridge between them. So that's why the Avatar is, extra human and supernatural in a way, and even like, the people closest to the Avatar, they never will fully know them because the Avatar.
There's a loneliness to it.
Yeah.
That I think you convey. And by the way, I'm laughing because you're nodding very sagely in that Dante way. You are going to forget all of this. Like, by the time we get to it, I guarantee you, you're going to be like, wait, what? We talked about this?
But
I don't remember that.
That different art style, was a deliberate choice that we made. We wanted it to feel more mythical. And came out way better than I was expecting, to the point that I was so mad at myself for not using that art direction for the original
you
series.
You that in the art book. Yeah, I think so.
I was just like, these backgrounds look great and are way easier to do. And like, I'm just so mad. I was really, Sylvia Philkek, Black Wolf did an amazing job on the color, the character and prop color and that stuff. And there was a lot of like, all of the crazy spirit effects and stuff with Rava and Vatu. Like we had to do a lot more like effects model sheets and color models, and
the colors are I would say out of this world. Like there's some transit.
When we would do a spirit character, it was like we had to show it in different stages and different colors, and throughout the season. So it was fun amidst
very hard
terror and horror.
Very hard, very horrible, very hard.
Within book 2, what are your standout episodes for me to keep an eye out for?
I mean, we've been talking about them, I think.
The beginnings.
I mean, those are very special episodes.
Okay.
Stylistically, I like, story-wise, it was fun to do because it was like taking Korra is experiencing the stories, so she gets the information, but we're basically leaving Korra, our main character, to the side for 2 episodes, and you're meeting this brand new character, which, can be tricky to do in the middle of a season.
Okay.
But, you fall in love with this brand new avatar, you get to meet him and learn his story. So.
And we get some of that in the first series with, just getting to know like Sozin and Roku's relationship.
It is
that,
somewhat similar to that kind of thing.
And those are some of my favorite, like getting into the origin stories of people.
That was a big finding out
Yeah.
who Roku was and connected to Zuko and connected to Aang is like, what?
Yes.
But aside from Beginnings, which those 2 are obviously huge favorites and they stand out visually and narratively, the end of book 2, it's kind of like, I think it's Harmonic Convergence, Darkness Falls, and A Light in the Dark. Again, that was when Studio Mir and Studio Rev came in to help finish up the season. And honestly, some of the animation, like when, I don't want to spoiler, but there's like the crevasse and Korra falls in it. Like some of that animation is like, honestly, some of the best animation we've ever had. And it's
so
I remember
great to
watching
hear.
it and just being like, not in a petty way, but just like, people, you get to watch this on TV. Like, this is like a movie, There's some really incredible stuff. And then again, I mentioned earlier, we did some really large scale fights with crazy effects and special character models that were like not the most complex, but they were different for us, and it came out great. And I'm just really proud of like Jeremy's music, that the big book 2 like finale fight, just the color and the effects and the music. It's something like, again, it was a rough season to get through and it's a bit uneven, but by the time I get to the end, like it's some stuff that I'm super proud of. It's like incredible action, but it's also really esoteric and quite literally beautiful. It's like it's very beautiful on screen and so, but it was really late, and I know the fans were kind of mad at us, and I remember just being like, yeah, but look at that. Like, anyways, So I think other than Beginnings, I should also point out the first episode, which the Japanese studio did, has some incredible animation in it. This we call it the owl face spirit. There's some incredible
Beautiful
stuff. Yeah, that I think Joaquin boarded that they just went to town on, and it's really amazing. So yeah, there's some really cool highlights.
Okay, looking forward to it. So no zombie Amon.
I'm so sorry,
unfortunately,
friend.
No,
I'm
not in
so
book.
sorry.
He's still out there. He's still out there in the seaweed.
No sightings. There's some sightings of
I can't
Amon.
emphasize enough how much that ruins that entire arc for me.
I will
He's
say,
still out there.
I will say the joke of sometimes these like joke pitches lead to actual ideas. The joke about zombie Amon led to Minghua in book 3. So
whoa, that's
cool.
Who?
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna. Okay.
Who?
You're gonna.
You don't need to worry about her.
Yeah. You're not emotionally prepared for book 3.
No.
Book 3 is.
I'm still getting over book 1.
Yeah.
All right.
I still think book 3 is probably the best thing.
I want you to.
Andrea Romano, we were talking when we were wrapping up, like, Avatar could be called Fathers Behaving Badly. I'm like, yeah, it's like bad dads. It's like all these kids that are traumatized by their awful fathers.
Mr. Sato, you are a horrible father!
There's some really good dads in there too.
There's some really good dads
Tenzin.
too. Tenzin? He has all those kids.
There's some
hilarious.
great stuff coming up with him and his kids in this next All I want to say real quick, because this will mean nothing to you, shout out to Blueberry Spicehead.
And
Shout
Pokey.
out to and Pokey.
Pokey.
And
Little
Rainbow
Milo,
Star
Iggy.
Child.
Yeah,
Those
Rainbow
really
Star.
stay with me.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. It's so great. Great writing, great directing. Shout out to the whole team who worked on book 2. Cannot wait to dive in. Cannot wait for you to have forgotten this entire conversation. And
we had our dads here. Thank you guys so
I
much
know.
for joining
Thank
us
you guys,
on the
as
podcast.
always.
Again, we appreciate it so much.
Hopefully we
you.
behaved, as your dads.
wait a minute. I'm going to have to process
Whoa,
this.
Whoa, all the meta
All the
stuff
meta
went-
just went crazy. All right, everybody. See you in more
See you
book
next week.
2.
Dive deeper into the world of Avatar with more of our award-winning podcasts.
Avatar Braving the Elements is available right here on the Avatar Legends YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts.
And catch more Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra on Paramount+.
That's the stuff! You are my hero!